I'd like to call this meeting of the Show Low City Council to order, show that all council members are present. Tonight I've asked Councilman Clark to lead us in the invocation, followed by the pledge from Vice Mayor Kakavas. If you'd all like to stand and join us, you may do so.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to gather as a council and to discuss the needs and the business of the city of Show Low and the citizens of our community. We pray that thy Spirit will be with us and help guide our decisions, that we might make them that are informed and we might have wisdom to look to the things that are necessary and that are prudent for this community, and that we might be able to be granted wisdom beyond our own. We pray that thou will please watch over our first responders, help them to be safe and to be protected. We are thankful for the moisture we've received. Pray that we'll be able to continue to receive the moisture as we so desperately need it. We are grateful for the circumstances in which we are able to gather, and we ask that thou will please bless the conflicts that are going on throughout the world, that will help the leaders who are dealing with those to be able to seek peace and to find ways that our fellow men will be able to get along. We humbly ask for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. Vice Mayor Kakavas. Next item on the agenda is call to public. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Any citizen desiring to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of the City Council may do so at this time. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall be addressed to the City Council as a whole and not to any individual member. Issues raised shall be limited to those within the jurisdiction of City Council. Pursuant to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council cannot discuss or act on items presented at this time. At the conclusion of the call of the public, individual City Council members may respond to criticism made by those who have spoken, may ask to have the staff review the matter, or ask that the matter be put on a future agenda.
Thank you, City Attorney. And I have one, Mr. Roberts.
Mayor, council, and community.
Go over just a little bit. I use the microphone.
Is that better?
That's much better.
Okay. Thank you. Mayor, council, and community. I'm here to let everybody know that we'll be having our Cruising the Rim car show 4 weeks from Saturday, but on 4 weeks from Friday, we will have our Cruising the Deuce, where we start at the church on the corner and come down to Hatch Toyota. Well, they will have a burger burn. The burger burn will be open to the public, so it won't just be for participants in the Cruising the Deuce. We hope to have 150 cars. We would love to see the community all lined up between Clark Road and the 260 and Hatch Toyota. It's always we have a bunch of nice cars that I think everybody will like to see as they go by. Those cars, most of them will be in the show on Saturday that will be held at Frontier Fields. So that is May 6th and 7th. May 6th for the cruise, May 7th, June 6th and 7th, and June 7th for the car show. The cruise will leave the church parking lot up there at 5:30. The burger burn will start at Hatch Toyota at 6 o'clock. The car show on Saturday will run from 9 a.m. to 3 in the afternoon. It is free admission. Everybody can come and see and enjoy the cars. Oh, I still got a minute and a half, man.
No, you're good. You're good, Doug. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We thank the city of Show Low for all the support that we get from them and all of the merchants, everybody in the whole area that is very supportive of this. All of the proceeds that we generate from this show are donated to the local Salvation Army station. So they help, and it all stays on the mountain. So everything that gets, t-shirts that get bought, food that gets bought, entry fees, everything, all the revenue that we take in, all of our sponsors. We've got 6 wonderful major sponsors and a whole bunch of a little bit lower level sponsors, but we have 6 that are, I still got a whole minute. Anyway, I'll let it go. But I want to thank everybody. We thank the city for all the support they do. Public Works is real helpful. Community development's real helpful. The council's always been very supportive, and we appreciate all of that.
Thank you, Doug, for all your guys' hard work. Don't go too far. You might want to sit right there if you don't mind. Okay, next item on the agenda is recognition of outgoing planning and zoning commissioner, Mr. Turgaskis.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Doug Roberts, back again. Just wanted to recognize him for his service on the Planning and Zoning Commission. He served for approximately 6 years as commissioner, most recently as vice chair. In that time, I had to miss 2 meetings. Doug only missed 1. So his attendance was exemplary. The research that he would put in as he was preparing for the meetings, very well prepared, always asked good and pertinent questions, took all information into account in making decisions, making motions, voting on items. I will point out the very last meeting that we had in which Doug was sitting commissioner really didn't have anything super serious on the agenda where we needed all 7 members. He was literally run over by a truck 2 days before the meeting. He still came and attended his last meeting. I think that says a lot about his character and his dedication. So I appreciate Doug. Hope to see him around still some more.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for all that he does. So.
Doug, we have a little something for you too, if you don't mind. Appreciate your hard work and your dedication, absolutely, to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Well, thank you. That is very nice. I will cherish this. I enjoyed my time on the commission. It was enjoyable to feel like you're making a difference with the city and having an impact and getting in good information and serving the community. It was a joy and a pleasure to work with everybody, all of the administration and all of the council and the other commission members. They're very equally, very, very qualified. All of you guys, I think many of you were on the commission at one time or another. But Councilman Whistle was on there even during the same time that I was. So, but anyway, so I appreciate it. I'm going to thank you, share everybody's support. Start with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.
And I'm not going to bust your chops.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. Thanks, Brent.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you guys
Good man.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a joy. Thank you. And you're still going to get to see this face around here.
Next item on the agenda under special events is a White Mountain Advisory Group Proposal Workforce Housing Project presentation. Mr. Hammond.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's Jim Hammett with the White Mountain Advisory Group, and this evening we're going to talk about the results of our feasibility study that we did under the Memorandum of Understanding that the council approved back in February. With the study, we had some very astute consultants. We had the Concord Group. They did a specific project market study. In that study was able to utilize more recent information than what was provided to you in your last meeting from the matrix report. And I think what was important is the matrix report really showed you where the trends are moving. And I think what this report does 2 years later shows that things are not getting better. So as we go through their study, that I can highlight some of the issues that they identified for the city. The preliminary engineering was done by Bruce Ironside and Zach Barlow from Ironside Engineering. Our preliminary construction estimates were done by Les Contracting and Zinni Homes. The financial analysis was by the Pinion Group, which is a national affordable housing developer. And then the financial underwriting was done by Sustainability Partners. Under the project market study, that there were 4 key factors came out as far as what's driving the high demand within the area. One is just turnover, just people leaving, not being able to find housing. The second is aging inventory, a growing population, and then also your increases in employment. So those are the 4 factors that are impacting the housing market. Under the study, what we found was between the 60% and 120% of the area median income, there's a need for about 940 workforce units currently. And then when you expand it to the 150, that adds another 120 units. So we're over 1,000 units needed for between the 60 and the 150% AMI. And that's pretty substantial. And then also a final tidbit on that was due to the supply constraints, that there's been a significant annual rental growth of 9% over the last 5 years. So that's showing that the market is extremely constrained, and we're seeing more and more people priced out. Under the second slide is the development cost and capital. And what we did is we studied 3 avenues for financing. The first was private financing, the second was municipal bonds, and the third was with sustainable partners. And the private financing, I think, is, as you look at it, we included that just to really illustrate why the private equity market does not invest in workforce or affordable housing. The returns are just not there. For this project, what we did is we have a basic model, and we ran it for 3 different scenarios as far as the cost of capital. And the private financing required $18 million of equity to acquire a 60% construction loan. So that is a substantial need. And most of our private equity investors are looking at about a 15% annual return. So you'll see here in a moment that this project just does not support a private market, private equity investor. The second we looked at was the municipal bond. That has its own issues. It has a higher development cost because of your initial startup fees, and also a leasing reserve to make up for the deficit of revenue in the first 6 years on the project. And as you'll see, as you look down for it, it actually produces a pretty good cash flow. However, it does not present a good residual. How much equity are you going to have at the end of 10 years? And so as we worked our way through it, that your net asset value was $5 million. That's equity in the project. But you did have $2 million of cash flow, so that makes the total return to the city of $7.4 million. The cash flow is important if you're looking at continuing to do an expanded housing program. That cash flow can help subsidize that. But as we know with muni bonds, that the city is at risk for all the development risk. They take that on fully, and it also is on your balance sheet, so it limits the other projects that you can be looking at. With Sustainable Partners, as we had a study session, and they explained how their program works, and it actually becomes the most efficient and provides the highest return on cost. An interesting statistic is the private financing was 5.66 return on cost, the muni was 5.45, and Sustainable Partners was actually 6.06 return on cost. So As you can see, there's not a large investment return on this project, but working with sustainability partners, you do have a residual value of over $6 million. And you also have no development risk with sustainable. So it works out where I believe that it provides a really good solution for the city, because it's, as we said, it's off balance sheet, and essentially it's housing as a service. And so I think that is the outcome of what we found, and that it returns the best. The next slide is just a graph that shows, well, graphically it shows you why the private equity, where they are. They're upside down by about $60 million. From their expected returns, anticipated returns for their investment. So you can see that between the muni bonds and the sustainable partners, that they're comparable. They're very, very close. And the remaining, at year 10, your asset value is 7.38 with the sustainability partners, whereas the muni bond has 5.31 million. So that's a substantial equity position for the city, that you actually acquire the appreciation. The city gets all the appreciation, so that in the future, when you're ready for a sale, that actually accrues to your benefit. So it's you're not having to put any money out, but yet you're receiving a good return in year 10, and in the future when you're ready to either sell the project, refinance the project, or whatever your decision would be at that time. Every project has risk, so we've identified them as market risk, which we've identified a 5-year demand of over 1,000 units between the 60 and 150 AMI. And then we have a pent-up demand due to the lack of the multifamily projects of scale being constructed, none being constructed in the past 5 years. So once again, we're looking at constraint. Construction risk, I think everyone understands that. We have potential delays. Right now, we're looking at material pricing volatilities. You have cost overruns, unforeseen conditions. So that's always a risk under the construction. And then your operational risk is just maintaining your occupancy, your maintenance and repair costs, and your total life cycle cost. The fifth risk, though, is the risk of no action. If you decide not to take action, then it would likely exacerbate the existing housing shortages and intensify the affordability issues that the community is facing. And under this program with sustainability partners, they assume all of the development risk. The city has no development risk at all. Our next steps at your next meeting, I believe that we'll be coming forward for project approval. We feel that this is a viable project that will work. It'll be a substantial benefit to the city by having the additional inventory available. It will also provide a clear message to industry that the city of Show Low is actively involved in the providing housing for industry. Also, we'll have an approval of our development services agreement that will develop the project, and will engage sustainability partners to fund the project using their infrastructure as a service model. We'll continue to partner with local institutions and employers to secure occupancy commitments, and as well as developing and implementing a community outreach program, so that we will be in a position that we can pre-lease a substantial number of these as we start construction. And then the other issue that we will have documented will be just our affordability criteria, and that will be the range of rents that we have modeled our investment program around. And essentially, it runs from 80 to 150%. And then we also have allowed the fact that you might have two income families, so you have earners, so we would raise that to 200%. So if you have two wage earners in your family, it would be up to 200% and they would still qualify. So they're not penalized for that. So I think at this point, that's really kind of it in a nutshell of what the project looks like. It's a viable project, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. And we're always available outside as well, should you have additional questions.
Anybody down there? I know we've met with you a few times, so we had lots of questions before, but I think most of them are getting answered. You guys good down there, Councilman Whiffle? You wake him up. You good? I'm good. Okay. Thank you.
I don't want to bore you, but
Councilman Clark.
I don't know if this is the point to ask these questions though. So I'm still not understanding. So with Sustainability Partners, why are they the only ones? Are they like a sole source provider of this type of service? Have we looked at going to an RFP and trying to put this out there for other entities to bid on, so that we're following procurement code and also making sure that we're getting the best entity or team that's going to be doing that?
Sustainability Partners is the only funder of this type that I'm aware of, and I've been looking around the country. That as far as your procurement, that it qualifies as a sole source because no one else has the ability to bring it to the table. And it also, in your procurement, you're not dealing with city property or you're not dealing with city funds. Mm-hmm. So that's a differentiating aspect as well.
Well, and that's where I don't know. I guess, Mayor, I'm very hesitant with this project because, while the slides indicate that there's no risk to us, there could be potentially a lot of risk if we have to take over the project. If we have if we exercise our 30-day right to terminate the contract, then we're essentially taking over a project that then has, if you go back to the slides, if we could go back a couple, I don't know who's controlling these. So this slide here, where it's like it's like what they're saying right now on this one is if no private partners are going to want to touch this because it's not economically viable, but at the same time we're saying we have an asset value that we're going to have $7.38 million worth of equity into this, but the private sector won't touch it. So I don't know how we can, with a straight face, say we have over $7 million of equity in this, but private financing won't touch it. So I don't know how you rectify
the differentiation at that point is that you have the equity, plus at year 10, you're also starting to generate substantial cash flow revenues. And so a private company would take a look at a stabilized project, but they just don't want to take the entrepreneurial risk of a restrained revenue project.
What does that mean, a restrained revenue project?
That means you're limited as far as what your rents can be.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't open them up but the city also has the ability under the sustainability program that it puts you in control of what this rental range is. Mm-hmm. We can always expand it, contract it, figure out where the market is. Mm-hmm. And so given the fact that of the demand, that we would see this essentially as your first initial project for housing. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it would drive it to the point where Show Low becomes a recognized investment market for multifamily by the institutional investors, and that you would start to see market rate folks as the economy continues to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where I feel like this is like we're ebbing into an area where the private sector should be doing this, not us. And I feel like there's too many. But I mean, I'm just letting you as the council know I have reservations with it, and I'm not at the point where I feel like we should.
So new that.
So was buying a plane 20 years ago, and look what that got us. So that it's just one of those things.
That sort of got us a plane now.
Well, not really. It sat on the tarmac for a couple of years. So so that's where I'm at with this. I feel like I recognize the need for it, but it seems like there's some things that just aren't adding up to me, so.
I have a question.
Councilor Doug.
Can you go back one slide? Go forward, okay.
Is that
So
the one?
the original total development cost through Sustainability Partners is 44 million.
Correct.
Okay, and then go forward one slide. And then, so maybe I'm missing something here. After year 10, our remaining debt is 43 million?
Correct.
So we've only paid down 1 million?
Well, that's because in the first 6 years, you're running at a deficit.
Okay.
And because construction costs being what they are in the limited range of rents that we can charge, is that for 6 years that it is essentially a negative cash flow. And then in year 6, it actually starts to generate a positive. And then that's where, as in those last 4 years, you're generating revenue, and that's what gives you the multiplier to create the equity.
Okay. And then can you send this slide? Maybe, do you already have it, Morgan? Yep. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you.
Or send the presentation, not the
No,
slide.
very good question. Very good questions. Vice Mayor?
So what's the incentive for sustainability partners to move forward with the project and taking on the risk?
Well,
City's not going to do this.
Sustainability Partners this is their business, that they do infrastructure, whether it's mechanical or housing. And they have large institutional investors that are looking to place money long-term. And so they have the expertise to control the risk. They have partnered with us. We know how to make it happen, and that they are offering to partner with the city to invest in the city to the point that they will absorb the initial 5-6 years of negative cash flow and amortize it over a period of time.
You said the next step was to sign a contract. Are we there for that? Isn't that what that said on the first one? Are we?
We're working on it. There's
Okay.
some legal issues to work through. And
Well, it's just I haven't heard that part till tonight. I mean, we've met with them many of times, and then all of a sudden, next step, sign a contract at our next meeting. It's like, wait, I don't know if we're there yet. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I know that in our study session, you were gonna reach out to some of the other government entities in the area. Have you reached out to to the school district, to this town of Pine Top, like Blue Ridge Unified School District, like all of those partners within the region? And if you have, what have been what has their response been?
We've reached out to the hospital, and they're very encouraged. They will participate. The school district, the Show Low School District, we made a presentation, and that they decided at this time that they could not afford to guarantee a number of units. However, they did identify that they have about 25 to 30 people who are actively searching for housing. And so we would be able to access those people. The college we made a presentation with, and we're waiting for them to come back. And then we would actually start a community outreach program. I did meet with Mayor Johnson, or I'm sorry, City Manager Johnson from Pine Top recently, and they're very interested in participating as well.
So when you say that the hospital's interested in participating, what does that participation look like? Is that like being?
They would do a lease on, they would do a sublease on a certain number of units.
But not assume the risk like the city is with the building of the project.
And see, the city's actually, you're not assuming that risk actually under the building. That Sustainability Partners is assuming all of that risk.
Well, in theory, but if something goes awry and we have to cancel our agreement with them, then and we exercise our 30-day option to leave the partnership, then the city owns all of the risk. We would be the one who would be financially responsible for this entire project. So
At that point, you would have the opportunity to refinance it.
yeah,
And you would have some equity to help with that.
yeah, but so in one case you're saying we have zero risk, but then at the same time it's like, well, no, there would be risk involved and we would have to refinance. So I'm not sure how we rectify that.
Well, I think you look at the market demand, whereas there's substantial demand. So I think occupancy is really not a major concern right now. And that's in the financial underwriting, that's something that Sustainability Partners went into in great depth, was the strength of the market.
Yeah, I know there's a market demand, but it just doesn't seem like there's a market demand for to pay market rate prices. There's a market demand for people to pay
Well,
a
they're not-
reduction in prices, or in a lease agreement, right?
Yeah, but we're not paying market prices.
I know.
We're paying 30% of people's AMI.
I understand that. I'm just saying that when we're being told that there's zero risk to us, but then there's a possibility of being some risk that we would have to refinance, and that there's a market demand, but the market demand is not for a market rate, so that if we had to refinance at that point and then start charging for these, we would be on the hook to subsidize the rent for those entities, and then these other government entities have not joined on because they'll sign a lease agreement at a reduced rate for their workforce housing, but not willing to pay an entire market amount. Then
Actually,
that causes me concern.
the entities are looking at a higher level than, like the hospital. It's, it becomes higher where you end up closer to the 130 to 140% AMI pricing. So that's, we've taken that into consideration. But, the city would also have the option, if everything goes badly, they could take the rental restrictions off of it, and it would become a market rate, of which there is a need for market rate. So our study focused just on this narrow band of people.
Yeah, but at the same time then, but the private equity firms who normally handle this type of project, there's not a financial incentive for them to engage in that at this point.
Well, certainly there is, because they're always looking to place capital, and you have, your project is stabilized, and you're seeing a positive, after year 6, you're seeing a positive cash flow.
But what if it's not year 6 yet? What if it's year 1?
Well, you're right, if you think you're gonna cancel in year 1, we shouldn't be doing this.
I know, that's what I'm saying, is because
Right.
it's so new, we don't know what we don't know, so we don't know if we're gonna have to cancel in year 1. And that's where I'm worried about, that we as a city are taking on a $44 million project, and it's not going to produce what we hope it's going to produce, because we don't know what it's going to produce, so.
I don't quite follow your logic there, that you don't know what it's going to produce.
I just asked you, who else is doing this? And you said this is such a new, I'm using what you've told us, that this is such a new phenomenon, that we don't see anywhere else in the country where this is being done. And so now I'm saying that in a 1 year time frame, the partnership or the agreements or whatever could go sour, because this is all new, and now we're left on the hook for a $44 million bond.
Well, if sustainability should, in their contract, should they go bankrupt or something like this, the asset converts to the city for $1. So if sustainability has issues, then, you have an out within the contract.
Yeah, I know that.
And so that, that takes care of, a good portion of your risk.
I think that's why I was asking him if we were ready for that yet, because sounds like a lot of stuff that's got to be in a contract for what we don't know.
Well, and I would feel a lot better if we were like, yeah, we've talked to, because everybody else who's saying, yes, absolutely, we need this, we all agree on that. And then everybody else is like, absolutely, as soon as the project's done, we'll sign leases for that. That's a very convenient place to be if you're all of these other entities, to say, yeah, go ahead, City of Show Low, you guys take the lead and you guys take all of the risk, which we're being told there is none, but it sounds like there is some. And at the same time, we want, they want to be partners from afar. So I just don't feel comfortable at this point that we have enough information to say, yes, this is as amazing as it's being presented to us. So that's what I have.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you, sir. I'm sure we'll be in touch.
You'll be talking. Yeah.
Appreciate it. All righty, next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. We'll get a proclamation by the mayor proclaiming May 1 through 7th as Youth Week. Proclamation by Mayor proclaiming May 18th through May 25th as Public Works Week. Consideration of acceptance of Well 5 emergency repairs. Consideration of order of purchase new public work maintenance van. Consideration of the minutes of the Show City Council study session on April 15th, 2025. Also the regular meeting on April 15th, 2025. Entertain a motion for the consent calendar as read.
So moved.
Got a motion, need a second? Got a second, Councilman Judd. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. If I could have the city clerk read the proclamation for Youth Week, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Whereas the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks has designated May 1st through the 7th as Youth Week to honor America's junior citizens for their accomplishments and to give fitting recognition of their services to community, state, and nation. And whereas the City of Show Low will sponsor an observance during that week in tribute to the junior citizens of this community. And whereas no event could be more deserving of our support and participation than one dedicated to these young people who represent the nation's greatest resource and who in the years ahead will assume the responsibility for the advancement of our free society. And whereas our youth need the guidance, inspiration, and encouragement which we alone can give in order to help develop those qualities of character essential for future leadership and go forth to serve America. And whereas to achieve this worthy objective, we should demonstrate our partnership with youth for our understanding of their hopes and aspirations and a sincere willingness to help prepare them in every way for the responsibilities and opportunities of citizenship. Now, therefore, John Leach Jr., Mayor, on behalf of the Show Low City Council, does hereby proclaim the first week in May as Youth Week in the city of Show Low and urges all citizens to support and participate wholeheartedly in its observance. Thank you.
Thanks, City Clerk. If we could have a representative come on up. Robin? Well, as you're coming up, Robin, I just want to thank the Elks for all they do in the community for our youth. They have Easter egg hunts, Christmas parties, and they have all kinds of stuff, scholarships. So we certainly appreciate what the Elks do for our youth and our community very much. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now look at the camera. You guys behind me, stand up and smile. Oh, we'll all smile. Turn around. Okay, we're going to change.
All right. Thank you.
You didn't tell me you're bringing a professional photographer.
Well, you know, you get what you get from the watch.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you very much. And if I could have the city clerk read the proclamation for Public Works Week, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Whereas public works, infrastructure, facilities, and services are vital importance to the health, safety, and well-being of the people of Arizona. And whereas such facilities and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, engineers, and administrators who are responsible for and must design, build, operate, and maintain the transportation, water supply, sewage, and refuge disposal systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to serve our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens and civic leaders of the city of Show Low to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest in the public works needs and programs of the community. And whereas Arizonans should join with representatives of governmental agencies and the American Public Works Association in paying tribute to our public work employees and to recognize the substantial contributions they have made to our national health and welfare. Now, therefore, John Leach Jr., Mayor, on behalf of the Show Low City Council, does hereby proclaim May 18th through the 25th, 2025 as Public Works Week in the city of Show Low and extend appreciation to the public works professionals for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent. Thank you.
Thank you. You made a mistake in reading?
That's
why you
I always do.
Hey, Rick, can you come up if you don't mind? I know, once again, this is just a little thank for everything you guys do there. Hopefully in the next, this time next year, we're celebrating a new building for you guys, but You guys deserve more than a proclamation for sure, but thank you for everything your staff does. You guys are absolutely amazing. And then we got that here. You can have that. We got one of these for them. So how many employees you have?
50.
50. So each day you guys send this to the next person. So we were going to get a couple of them, but we figured Rick's such a great manager. You can tell them, okay, it's your turn to have the bag this week. Anyway, we got each of you guys one of these bags, and Rick will hand them out to you. But Rick, we can't thank you enough for what you do in this community, and these guys will probably we can never thank them enough. This community, believe it or not, when you're out plowing snow, they get mad at you and yell at you. You guys keep on plowing snow. But thank you guys so much for what you do for our community. Very much.
Thank you.
That's a nice one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a lot of thank yous in there. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you.
Yes. And thank you guys for coming tonight. Appreciate it. For all your hard work. Okay, let me get on to the meeting. Okay, next item on the agenda under new business is consideration award of a construction contract for City of Show Low Slurry Seal 2025, City of Show Low project number R8625. Mr. Hemsaw.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The 2025 capital improvement plan includes funding for the 2025 annual slurry seal project. The city's current pavement preservation plan includes a minimum maintenance of crack filling, patching, and resurfacing every city street, parking lot with a slurry seal every 6 years. City crews are currently crack filling and patching repairs for the areas identified for slurry seal this year. Rehabilitation includes furnishing all labor, equipment, materials required to place approximately 275,000 square yards of Type 2 polymer modified asphalt slurry seal on selected streets, as well as replacing the pavement markings for the roadways after the slurry seal placement. The engineer's construction cost estimate for the work was $550,000. An invitation to bid was published as required, and sealed bids were opened publicly with the following results. American Pavement Preservation, $497,605.00. Lejas Corporation, $626,875.00. And BSS International at $780,120.00. Staff recommends awarding the 2025 slurry seal project, City of Show Low project number R8625 to American Pavement Preservation in that amount not to exceed that $497,605.00. The maps for the locations are attached. The overall map is dark green this year. That kind of gives you an idea of the different locations that's receiving the slurry seal. And I'm here for any questions.
I probably asked you this before, but do we come back and stripe, or is this part of the slurry seal?
It's part of the contract. So the slurry seal contractor is responsible for getting a subcontractor who does the striping to follow up and paint after they put the slurry seal down.
And they put more paint down so it lasts more than before they get done with the project? It seems like as soon as they're done, it's gone.
Wolford was one we added this year that's not receiving slurry that we're
Okay.
repainting because it didn't get painted good last time.
Yeah, that was Councilman Clark.
Can you guys make sure you guys are slurry sealing during 4th of July weekend on Central?
Absolutely not.
Is that possible, Shane? Can we make sure that
Just
happens?
his house.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
just right there from.
Add some hate to us or what?
I mean, the 4th of July weekend, we should definitely plan it that weekend.
We're picky on them. We don't let them slurry seal during the bulky item trash pickup week in June because that's a fun, and we don't allow 4th of July. Everything else is open for the summer. So
That's great.
You know how to stay out of trouble.
Councilor
Question. So are these all pretty equal? It's hard to tell with the purple and the pink. Are they kind of all the same mileage?
they're pretty close. I believe next year, the purple year, the blue year. Yeah, next year, the blue year. That's the year we do all the trails in the city. So all like the metal trail, all the paths along the highways, and so that's kind of a different project that year. But the rest of them are pretty equal. Yeah.
Is the price comparable to what it has been before? Have you guys seen it go up quite a bit? How's
We've seen it.
$497?
We've seen it rise constantly. This is the first year we've seen it tick down a hair.
Okay.
What about the trail in the park? Is that in this?
It's next year with the blue.
Okay,
Yep, all the paths are done the same year.
okay, perfect. Any other questions, comments, or motions? Councilman Clark.
I'll move to award the construction contract for the City of Show Low Slurry Seal 2025 City of Show Low project number R-8625 to American Pavement Preservation in an amount not to exceed $497,605.00.
Got a motion, got a second by Councilman Hatch. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed, motion passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is consideration of award of a construction contract for citywide roadway improvements 2025, City of Show Low project number R-5025. Mr. Hempsaw.
Thank you. The 2025 capital improvement budget also includes $750,000 for funding for a roadway improvement project labeled Golf and Country Club Subdivision. The city also identified South Ridge Crest Drive as needing roadway improvements in this current year. The scope of the work consists of pulverization and removal of approximately 24,000 square yards of existing asphalt roadway, subgrade preparation and compaction, reshaping the roadway grade, installing a new 3-inch asphalt overlay, adjusting water valves and manholes, and other items necessary for the work. The work shall take place on portions of South Ridge Crest Drive, West Country Club Drive, West Cooley, North 34th Drive, and West Country Club Circle. The engineer's construction estimate for the work was $890,000. The invitation to bid was published as required, and sealed bids were opened publicly with the following results. Surface Contracting Incorporated, $979,550. Perkins Cinders Incorporated, $987,176.23. Staff recommends awarding the citywide roadway improvements project 2025, City of Show Low project number R-5025 to Surface Contracting in that amount not to exceed that $979,550 and authorize the associated budget transfers. The map of locations is attached. I'm here for questions.
So when we estimate the cause of the construction, that was quite a bit difference, wasn't it?
Yeah, the engineer's construction estimate was based off past pricing. We had a really good showing at our pre-bid meetings. However, only received 2 bids. Kind of puzzled us. As you'll see on the next item, the same group sat through the same pre-application meeting and we got a ton of bids. So sometimes scope of work, people are busier at different times, but that was one where we only received 2 bids.
Do they know your estimate?
Yes, they do.
That little piece way down there in the bottom, where's that? Did you say what that was?
So that is a cul-de-sac. It's called this, I can't remember the actual subdivision name, but it's actually not Sierra Pines, but it's a small development up at the top of Sierra Pines that houses probably about 12 or 15 lots. And it's just kind of a cul-de-sac that's really blown out as well. So while we're bidding out this project, this one's the exact same scope. The curbs are already in place. All we're doing is pulling up the asphalt, brushing the AB, and repaving. So we incorporated that cul-de-sac with this project as well.
Is there houses there in that
Yes.
cul-de-sac? There is, okay. Okay, any other questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion.
Councilman Whipple.
I move to award the construction contract for the citywide roadway improvements 2025 City of Show Low project number R-5025 to Surface Contracting, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $979,550 and authorize the associated budget transfers.
I had a motion, need a second. Councilman Hatch is on a roll, I got a second. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is consideration of award of construction contract for downtown parking lot, City of Show Low project number R-6624. Mr. Hempsaw.
All right, some of us have been waiting for this one. The 2025 capital improvement plan budget includes $600,000 in funding for parking lot improvement labeled downtown parking lot Woody's east of library. The scope of the work consists of constructing a parking lot located at the southwest corner of North 11th Street and East Hall next to the city library. The parking lot improvements include asphalt for 57 parking stalls, installation of sidewalk, ADA ramps, irrigation conduit, electrical conduit with parking lot lights, and necessary drainage improvements required by the improvements. The work also includes the installation of some streetscape improvements along the west side of North 11th Street between East Hall and East Huning. The project was designed by city engineering staff with an engineer's construction estimate of $550,000. The invitation to bid was published as required, and the following bids were received. McCullough Construction LLC, $511,085.00. Western Grade LLC, $515,286.98. Gunner Contracting, $595,307.00. Layhouse Corporation, at $613,489.25. Central Arizona Civil Construction Company at $619,693.00, and Perkins Cinder Incorporated at $640,933.43. Staff recommends awarding the downtown parking lot City of Show Low project number R6624 to McCullough Construction LLC in that amount not to exceed that $511,085.00. A map is attached of the proposed improvements, and I'm here for questions.
Thanks, sir. Any questions or comments? Motion? You have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, have we used Macaulay Construction before, Shane?
We have. They did the streetscape improvements in front of the House Restaurant, and they also set the box culvert right next to that for Whipple Wash right there at the intersection.
Okay, and we were happy with them, everything?
Yes, they do nice work, nice concrete work, and they're based out of Winslow.
Okay, great. And I noticed we've already got work going on over there by Monica's and them. It looks like it's chugging along. That's great. So.
Yeah, we're really hoping to get a lot of that sidewalk down this next couple of weeks and really get ahead of it, so we don't have two people really on top of each other, and they'll kind of be moving out of there after they pave.
I'd rather have them on top of each other than the crowd from 4th of July, so tell them to go for it.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Councilman Judd, do you have a question or a motion?
I got a motion.
Go ahead.
I move to award construction contract for downtown parking lot, City of Show Low, project number R-6624 to Macaulay Construction LLC, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $511,085.
Got a motion, got a second by Councilman Whipple. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir.
This is exciting. I'm glad to have this going forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda is consideration of award of construction contract for Show Low Lake Public Works Building Design Build City of Show Low project number FM0125. Mr. Cup.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. At its regular meeting on August 6, 2024, the City Council approved the pre-construction contract for the design of a building to house the Public Works operations staff. The building will accommodate up to 70 employees. The building will have offices, cubicles, a kitchen, break room, restrooms, showers, lockers, an assembly room, computer lab study room, a public foyer, a file and storage copier room, and other spaces identified. The project delivery method is design build, which is a qualifications-based selection process. 2 contracts are needed for the design build process, pre-construction and construction. The design has been completed and a guaranteed maximum price has been presented by the contractor LD&B LLC. Staff recommends approving the construction of contract for Show Low Public Works Building Design Build City of Show Low project number FM0125 to LD&B LLC with a guaranteed maximum price of $2,306,904.43. And also we've added some slides in your packets that hopefully you had an opportunity to look at. This is the floor plan here, large assembly area in the center. We have a rear entrance with showers, 4 showers, restrooms with showers, and lockers. Some supervisor offices. We have a kitchen area here with access out back to a patio area. So if we do a safety lunch or breakfast or something like that, we can prepare our food in the kitchen and get out the back. These are some renderings that the architect prepared for us. This is the front of the building. This would be standing in Lumberman's Loop, looking to the west. Another one still looking towards the west. This is the entry foyer. This is the assembly room. another rendering of the assembly area, another. You can kind of see the kitchen here in the background. There's a good shot of the kitchen there. We have a conference room as part of the project, and this is the back of the building. So, any questions?
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Oh,
I'm ready.
well deserved for sure. I'm glad this is going through. I know we've worked on this for many years, and when we go to the Public Works building now, today, you walk in there and go, how do you do it? I mean, it's a mess. It's absolutely a mess, and it's nice that the council's up here thanking these guys for what they do by a building like this. So I appreciate all the hard work. I know you met with Rick and yourself and you guys that are in buildings like this, and especially Rick had a lot of input because he works in these buildings, and I know his guys had certain specific things that they needed too as well. So I'm just thrilled that they have a place they can go to and get out of the snow. The building they're in now, it's warmer in their trucks than it is in the building. So they just sit in the truck because going in the building, it's not comfortable. So it's pretty exciting.
There's a lot of excitement with the staff out there, and they're very thankful that council supports it.
Council.
I just have a question for you, Bill, and for Shane and for Rick. So if you guys want to come up, I want to get an answer from all of you. So I want to make sure that this building is big enough for the next 10 years, right? Like, we're a rapidly growing community. We have a lot of projects going. I know the mayor talks about you guys doing snow plowing all the time, but I know if they're freezing in the wintertime, they're roasting in the summertime, right? And I wanted to say this earlier with the group, but it's like, you guys work year round, Rick. We appreciate you. When it's snowing, you guys are out plowing. When the parade's out, you guys aren't with your families. You guys are out doing traffic control, and you guys are, when it's flooding and when we are able to get monsoons, you guys are out dealing with that. And so this is a year-round thing. And so do you feel like this building is adequate for your needs for the next 10 years? And, I don't let the cat out of the bag, but Shane, you're our next Public Works Director. So is this what you guys want? And is this adequate for that? Because I don't want to be coming back in 3 years where you guys are saying, hey, we need to build onto this building.
So we'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
So the Public Works Operations has grown about 7 employees in the last 10 years. So it's less than a guy a year.
Okay.
Currently, we have 46 folks that are in that building. It's soon to be 48. I think we're adding a couple in next year's budget. But I lost my train of thought. I apologize. Building's designed for 70 people is what I was going to say. So we're going to have less than 50, and at a higher rate or a growth rate of 1 guy per year. We've got quite a few years to grow into that building.
And Councilman Clark, when we first started looking at this and designing this, I think we were at 55, somewhere in that area. It's like, I think that's when council said, wait a minute. So by the time it's built, what are we going to do? Because we're going to run out of room. So that's why the cost went up. They put more bodies in there, but same thing. We knew that 55 isn't going to work. Let's build this thing that's going to last us 10, 15, 20 years or whatever it is. But
Actually, the building did grow during the design period just to make sure we're getting all the aspects and everything that we needed. I think for the next 20, 25 years, I think this would be a great meeting room for all the guys to be in one place, not lined up against the outside of the building or standing there in the corner. They actually just do a nice presentation, do a nice training, actually use the facilities. Nice individual offices for the supervisors. I think that's really, really key. They can bring their own staff in, close the door, do whatever they need to do, and I think it's a good build.
And to add to that again, when the first design, I think there was partitions up for staff, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, how comfortable is that when you have supervisors? Okay, can you raise your wall or move your wall over here? I mean, it wasn't. So that made the cost go up too. But Rick.
All I'd like to say is let's start digging.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. Well deserved for sure.
Well, and also I'll just make a statement. You guys can sit down. I think this is great. I am thankful for each of you guys who added your input and who made it a priority to expand it and to do that, because I think that's definitely needed. So thank you for doing that, Bill, and with your staff making sure that was put into place. I feel like it's very easy to justify to the, sometimes we get the public coming up to us saying, hey, why are you building this? What are you doing? Why is that? And it's easy to justify saying, hey, go look at their other facility and then why that is. And so thank you for doing that. And with that, I'll move to approve the construction contract for the Show Low Public Works building design build. The City of Show Low project number FM 0125 to LD&B LLC in amount not to exceed $2,306,904. Let me do that again. $2,306,904.43.
We don't round that off.
Yeah.
I got a motion. I got a
Penny more.
second by Councilman Adams. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. All right, next item on the agenda is consideration of approval of contract for Reed Head House restoration, adobe and plaster repair, City of Show Low project number FM 5225. 2.0, what's that? Oh, that's because we've revised it. Mr. Cup, okay, I remember now.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The Reed Head House, constructed in 1912, is the last standing residential structure of this period in Show Low. It was an original homestead built by the Reed Head family, one of the city's founders, and was continuously occupied until the city acquired in October 2021. It was required to preserve this historic home and its unique characteristics for future generations. Upon completion of the renovation, the home will be open for public tours, facilitated by the Show Low Museum. Repairs have been made to the foundation. Measures have also been taken to protect the foundation from water infiltration, which includes replacing rain gutters and rerouting flood irrigation away from the building. The city has applied for and received grant funding to start the process of restoring the building. To this end, the city prepared a request for qualifications and selected Motley Design Group, LLC, to develop the historic building preservation plan and assess the structure to determine eligibility for nomination to the National Register. Motley prepared a building condition assessment. The report included 3 categories of improvements: critical, serious, and minor. Staff presented the report and the architect's recommendations to City Council at a study session on March 5th, 2024. City Council directed staff to move forward with the critical priority work items. That work included repairing cracks in the adobe walls, foundations, and brick wall. The work also included repairing plaster, adjusting door and window frames, reinstalling pine plank floors, and reinstalling plumbing and wiring to code. The city's budget for this work was $375,000. In January 2025, staff advertised the Reed Head House Restoration Adobe Plaster Repair City of Show Low project number FM 5225. 2 bids were received on February 21st, 2025. Both bids exceeded the city's budget. Staff recommended rejecting all bids, and the City Council approved the action. As a result, staff reduced the scope to only include repairs to the adobe and plaster. On April 23rd, 2025, the project was publicly bid per statutory requirements. 3 bids were received and are as follows: Layhouse Corporation, $251,900. G&G Specialty Contractors, $268,449. Captive Construction and Renovation, $334,992.01. Staff recommends awarding the contract to Layhouse Corporation for the Reed Head House Restoration, Adobe and Plaster Repair, City of Show Low project FM 5225 2.0 in an amount not to exceed $251,900. Happy to answer any questions.
So, Bill, I noticed none of the contractors that bid it the first time were bid it the second time. Is there a reason?
Actually, I believe that.
Or was it just Motley that didn't?
It was, I believe we received a bid from Captive and G&G Specialty Contractors the first time around.
Okay, so the Motley guys didn't.
So Motley was the architect.
Oh, okay. Very good. Any questions or comments or motions?
I'll make a motion.
Councilman Clark.
I'll move to award the contract to Layhouse Corporation for the Reed Head House Restoration, Adobe and Plaster Repair, City of Show Low project number FM 5225 2.0 in an amount not to exceed $251,900.00.
Got a motion, got a second by Councilman Jad. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed, motion passed unanimously. There's not much plaster repair people around, is there? Or
Adobe people are scarce.
Yeah.
As we see, we we bid it twice and we got 3 bids.
Right,
So,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is summary of current events. Councilman Adams.
This week we have our track kids going down to state. I think we're sending 36 kids. Does that sound right? Down, so it's I think they're doing the send off. I don't know if it's Friday or Thursday after school, but we got a lot of really good athletes going down, and they're really competitive.
Let me know when they're going on.
Jump on the bandwagon there with Councilman Adams. The girls softball team took first in the 3A East this season. They played their first round of the playoffs and they beat, I believe it was Coolidge, 16-2. We had 4 girls hit 5 home runs, or no, 1 girl hit 3 home runs. So we had our bats were working really well. They play tomorrow night here at home against Winslow for the second round of the playoffs, and at our stadium over there at I think 6 o'clock. And so we want to congratulate them. I know that the Show Low baseball team, they had a hard-fought game against Empire in the first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately they lost by 1 run. But we want to congratulate the Cougars who are continually going on. And then also, I'm going to give a shameless plug right now. The Show Low high school football team, which Councilman Judd is one of the illustrious coaches, are doing the Cougar card sales right now. So our community is going to be inundated with young men who are going to be selling their Cougar cards. That goes to a very worthy cause. One of the very handsome Show Low Cougar varsity players is sitting in the back there. He looks like a 35-year-old man. That's my son, Dax. He's actually 17. If you want to get your Cougar card tonight, he's back there ready and willing to sell to you. So.
Handsome, he took after his mother.
He absolutely did take after his mother. Look at his mom and look at me, and you'll definitely see where he gets his looks from. So,
can you let me know for sure when that game is tomorrow?
Yeah,
Softball game?
Yeah, I will.
Because they play at 6 and 3 sometimes.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll get you, Mayor.
Anybody else? I just want to thank the staff for all the work they did this weekend for our city anniversary and also for the barbecue throwdown. The anniversary was overwhelming. I mean, there was a ton of people out there. It was so awesome to see. Unfortunately, as the sun dropped, so did the temperature, so it got real cold. We had some great bands that night. One of the bands that finished, it kind of amazed me. They're more of a rock band. Some of older are acid rock too, but some of the newer rock, and they were all teenagers. Like you couldn't tell from a distance. But they celebrated. One of the kids turned, I think he turned 19. The drummer was 16, and the lead guitar player was 17. But they're one of the hottest bands in the state right now, Zomboia or something like that. But they were absolutely amazing. Oh, Rachel. Anna was there, but they were absolutely amazing. I always set my camper up right at the end, and they started playing, and we kind of welcomed them, and then a bunch of us went back, and then they started playing. It's like, oh, we got to go see these guys. They're a bunch of kids. But it was absolutely amazing. But how much work our staff does just absolutely amazes me. They show up religiously. I probably start Thursday, Friday, they got everything ready. Here comes all the tables and chairs and grills and burgers, and it's just amazing. And then Sunday they come and clean up, and I think 4 or 5 of them, maybe 30 minutes, they just bam, 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 and they're gone. So they do such a fantastic job for not just this event, all the events. And I always look at this one as a kickoff of the summer because they're going to be busy. They help out at most of the events that we have over there. It doesn't have to be a city event. I think they help out for the car show. They help out for a lot of the 90% of events that are there. So they know they're going to be busy, but I think the cat's out of the bag about our new, whatever he's called.
Service director.
I think Morgan will talk about that, but he was even out there and the whole time, and I thanked him for first of all putting in for the job, and he goes, I have such a great crew. I mean, he is part of that crew, but he's pretty excited too. But what he sits there because he's one of those kind of people that we have out at Public Works. The same thing out there that if he's going to ask you to go do it, he's probably going to help you anyway, even though his job says no, you're supposed to do it. He'll be that person that'll be in there helping. So it's pretty exciting. But I just can't thank staff enough for all they do for all these events starting now, almost every weekend. So,
Mayor, there's a rumor going around that our current community service director was playing the cowbell at some point at that night. So if we could loop that into this meeting real quick.
Yeah,
If
somehow.
Miles or somebody could find a copy of that on Facebook.
Yeah, he was having a lot of fun with the cowbell, but his finger got in the way on one of those.
He got
Oh,
it
yeah.
up, and he's a
nailed it.
drummer.
He
So
nailed
that's,
his finger. He
Wow.
cut it open pretty good, but it was pretty fun watching that. He ran from the back and jumped on the stage.
no way.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was amazing. That was fun too. City manager.
Yeah, there's a video going around.
It's on social media.
So we're entering our busy season, got a lot of stuff going on. Just a reminder to the public that our Main Street Farmers Market starts up this Saturday from 9 to 1 at the Festival Marketplace. And it goes through September 20th. There's lots of vendors selling produce, food products, arts and crafts. So you can visit sholomainstreet.org if you want more information. A reminder that next week we'll have a community ceremony for the National Police Week on May 15th. That's at 6 p.m. at the Law Enforcement Memorial next to City Hall. All the public is invited to attend that event. We have our first annual Sholo Junior Rodeo coming up on June 6th and 7th out at the Linden Valley Arena. That event starts at 6 p.m. Lots of events for junior rodeo competitors. Registration opens on May 12th and closes May 31st. To register, you can visit the Sholo activity website and register there. Also got our city's annual Project Clean Sweep. That kicks off next week. Sholo residents can dump their green waste for free for 2 weeks at Dirty Deeds. Green waste at 890 Cinder Pit Road from Monday, May 12th to Saturday, May 17th, and again from Monday, May 19th to Saturday, May 24th from 8 to 4 p.m. And bulky item pickup will begin the week of Monday, June 2nd through Thursday, June 6th. Items should be placed in front of your residence next to the roadway by 7 a.m. Citizens can haul debris also for free to the Lone Pine Transfer Station from Monday, June 2nd through Saturday, June 7th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can visit the city's website for more information on that. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
One other thing, just to remind everybody, I believe that we're getting ready to do a PSA about the traffic in town. For some reason, it seems like everybody is speeding. I don't know what the hurry is. I don't know if it's just the locals or they're afraid that some of our summer visitors are going to get in front of them. I don't know what's going on, but there's literally an accident every day, it seems like. I talked to the chief the other day, and he wants to be kind of part of this PSA that we're going to kick out there and try to get people to slow down. And my joke about turning right in Sholo is really not a joke. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. Everybody's in a hurry to turn left, and it's getting really bad. I know the chief's involved, and they're doing a lot of they're catching a lot of speeders. I don't know what everybody's hurry. It seems like it's earlier this year, but be careful out there. It's going to get crowded. It's not going to get any slower. We all know that. We look forward to getting here, but we also look forward to everybody leaving when everything slows down. But just be safe. And I'm really not kidding on the turn right, especially leaving Safeway. Cal Ranch is getting full because of the new, what's the name of the store?
TJ Maxx.
Yeah, TJ Maxx. So Safeway's always been, so turn right and go around. I mean, literally, it's the Deuce of Clubs is busy. And we can't make it wider. We really don't want to, but we can't make it slower. But I can tell you that our police department is out there, and they're definitely stopping people because of all these wrecks. It's terrible. Anyway.
Thursday, 3:30 for the send out for the track kids.
Cool. At the high school, obviously. Okay. All right. Schedule of meetings.
So just remind the council that I think some of you have signed up to fill backpacks for the White Mountain Backpack Snacks Organization. That's Monday, May 12th at 6 p.m. at the Blue Ridge High School. So just remind you of that. And then we'd like to do a study session before our next meeting on May 20th at 6 to talk about our downtown parking and some other traffic concerns we're having. So just let me know if that's okay. Be at 6 o'clock on the 20th. I see heads nodding. Okay. Good.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. We'll discuss and consider our legal advice with our attorney or attorneys. Got a motion, got a second. All those in favor? Thank you, guys.